Okay, let's break it down. I want to try to the best of my ability to break down the science of why these fandoms are always full of fucking degenerates. You know, the Furry fandom and the Sonic fandom and a Hell of a Boss fandom and a Has-Been Hotel fandom and all these kind of fandoms and stuff like that. Why is there so many degenerates in this stuff? You know, people like to ask the question, does Sonic make you degenerate, or degenerates like Sonic, right? Well, you gotta think. You gotta think for a moment. Okay? Why are these things degenerate? Well, first of all, it's not really that liking some of these things are necessarily bad. Liking Sonic, for example, surely isn't bad. It's a pretty good game. It's got interesting characters and stuff like that. But see, the thing is, when you're creating a fandom, you're creating a fan base, and you got all these people coming together, these like-minded people and stuff like that. What kind of people do you think these are going to be? Do you think these are going to be really serious-minded people that's always, you know, in the real world and talking real-world stuff, you know, how things should be and stuff like that? Or do you think that these people are going to be escapists? People who, you know, either are tired of the laws, you know, inside the real world, or can't take them, or can't handle them, right? So, if you think about it, you know, you got all these unstable people inside this room, you know, around in these areas and stuff like that, in these environments, right? All of them are, you know, either in their teens, or, you know, they're trying to figure out what their so-called sexuality is. I already know what it is, motherfucker. It's called life. You know, and they're all in these groups talking to each other about their interests, and, you know, they're into escapism. A lot of these people, they're not going to be very bright. You know, they're going to all be these people that are just into, you know, basically anything that makes them feel good. And then if you got an environment like that, that's got that type of energy going on, how much more attractive do you think it's going to be for nasty motherfucking degenerates like Hypnotist Sappho, straight from the fucking pits of hell, and people like Kuro Wolf and the Snake Thing and all them motherfuckers? How many of them kind of people do you think are going to be attracted to those kind of environments? It's not going to attract people who are thinking about real world scenarios. It's going to be attracting people who are escapists. You're making an escapist community. And the reason why escapism exists is to basically, the reason why there's no rules in the furry fandom, the reason why everything's so fucking liberal and all the genders and all this shit, is because escapism, the nature of it is to get away from laws, to get away from order, and to get away from, you know, the way things should be in the real world. And of course, people, all kinds of fucking pedophiles and all kinds of fucking creeps are going to be attracted to that kind of place. It's not a matter of you know, opinion or debate. You know, if these people really wanted freedom, they'd follow the laws and divine regulations that simply exist, you know? They're universal laws. They're universal principles, man. They're not things that, you know, that are really even that debatable, you know? You want Sonichus on the fucking planet? Well, I don't know what kind of DNA a Sonichu has, but I'll tell you one thing. Anything that has all them kind of superpowers and stuff like that ain't sitting around worrying about his wiener, right? He's worried about real world scenarios and real world things. So when we get a fandom that can be focused on real world scenarios and real world stuff, then this stuff might, things might come to an end. That there might not be all this, escapism and shit going on, because that's the problem. I mean, if Sonic inspires you to become a better person in the real world, then it's not escapism. It's a symbol. It's symbolic of what you could be, right? But if it's something, you're into the latest fanfic and getting into all this type of degeneracy, what kind of people do you think that's going to attract? I mean, it's really common sense. I mean, when you smite your inner lolcow, you know what I mean? You will become like the greats, You will. You'll become like the greats. When you understand there's more freedom in divine law than there is in your fucking, what are they, There's more freedom in divine law than your, transgressions, right? I think that's what Buddha called it. Transgressions, right? When you understand there's more to divine law than your transgression, there's more freedom in that than there is in escapism. Then you might have a heavenly fan base. And until then, you're going to get creeps, and you're also going to get, Coomer content, like this new Kyla or Kayla Fox or whatever. It's got that "You Got That" theme song in the background, got that wolf shaking her ass and everything. And, you're always going to have these, Fap to the Beat compilations with, and lioness shaking their ass and all that type of stuff like that, man. You're always going to have this type of degeneracy until people realize that. And, all this fictosexual stuff, until people realize that R34 is actually destroying your sex life and it's making you less attracted to people in the real world, until people realize that, until people understand that, no, jacking off to My Little Pony is not cool, this so-called sexuality you're creating is actually a deviation from being able to actually have a relationship with a real human being. So, I mean, if you want to keep making your, cock not work, you go right ahead, man. I'm on, I don't know what day I'm on. I think, what was it, January 26th, I think, is when I relapsed. And I've been going since then. So I don't know how many days has that been. That's been a lot of days. I don't know. Been over a week probably. A couple weeks maybe. I don't know. That's just what I'm saying, man. Smite thy inner lolcow. That's what we need to be doing, man. That's the only way, smite thy inner simp. That wants to jack off to all these fan sites and stuff like that, man. There's this man on the internet called Ren. And I mean, he talks about retention like I have never seen any man talk about retention before. He's, his mind is going above the sex. We're creating a new generation inside, in between the walls of Gen Z and between the walls of Gen Alpha. That's going to be the likes of which no man has ever seen before in the history of history. Where men are finally coming over, their primitive desires, and we're becoming the type of men that Martin Luther King dreamed of, and people like, all the greats, the George Washingtons and the even greater ones, the Paramahansa Yoganandas and the Jesus Christs. slow thy inner locale, and you will be the next generation.